Hey guys, what's up? I am here for the first time ever with me.
Actually, second time.
Second time, because this is the second time recording it. VsxFedora.
Hey, I still exist.
Yay! The DC, hive mind? Fanboy is just such a cruel word.
I prefer hive mind, but fanboy is the general consensus, I believe.
Well, Fedora, we're not going to be talking about Batman, unfortunately.
Like, there's others other than Batman?
Yeah, you know, other characters outside of Batman, the Batman family. We're not going to be... I'm sorry, I told him, guys, that we were going to talk about the Night of the Owl story, but
Damn it.
I tricked him. Got your ass.
Crap. Well, what are we talking about then?
We're going to be talking about the possible end of the emotional spectrum.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's actually pretty appropriate.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, for those who are not following, who haven't been following a lot of the Green Lantern books, the emotional spectrum is dying off. It started with Sinestro destroying the Sinestro core battery when he was, when he became a Green Lantern again. Him and Hal Jordan destroyed the battery on Korrigar. And Arkillo basically is on a quest to reboot the core, his core, now. The Red Lanterns have lost their battery. It's been poisoned, and the Lanterns are slowly dying off. The Indigo Tribe's battery has been destroyed. And now, currently in New Guardians, Green Lantern New Guardians, I mean, the Reach is on the warpath against the Blue Lanterns, and their target, the Blue Lantern core battery. So, V, let me ask you this. How would you feel about the total destruction of the other Lantern cores and only there be Green Lantern?
Well, I think I'd be a little bit against it because, you know, Geoff Johns has been doing this whole thing with Green Lantern. It's been really interesting to see what he's done with the mythos and stuff. But, yeah, I don't think they're going to go all the way with this because, you know, when you think about it, comics, they're about... Yes, they are about restoring the status quo, and that status quo has been, you know, there's just one core. Like, they kind of, like, tinker around with ideas. But, you know, the cores are making the money. It's a really fascinating concept they've brought to it, and, yeah, like, they might just play around with it, because when you think about stuff like, you know, Bruce Wayne dying, Dick Grayson becoming Batman, like, those are things that are inevitable, but, you know, they're not going to change that. Like, they're just going to play around with the idea. And, yeah, I think they might have, like, some sort of, like, event or something that's centered around all the batteries are gone, and they kind of have to bring them back or something like that, because, they have been building up this prophecy in current Green Lantern, just the main book, that, the Guardians are going to destroy all the cores. So it's kind of like a War of the Green Lanterns, but with all the cores.
Yeah, it's a grander scale. Like, this is probably going to be Green Lantern Civil War.
Yeah, exactly. And, yeah, like when we heard about Blackest Night, we thought there'd be, you know, that whole extinguishing of the core thing. That's not really what that was focused on. It was just destroying all life, and the core just happens to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it turned out that the multiple lights, the multiple lanterns turned out to be the saviors.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, too, because in Green Lantern #9, they explained why that Blackest Night prophecy didn't come to exist. It's because Abin Sur, like, he found out about the prophecy, obviously, and he didn't just sit around and wait for it to happen. Like, he took proactive steps, and he helped create the Indigo Tribe.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, if the Indigo Tribe didn't show up during Blackest Night, everything would have... The Black Lanterns would have won.
Yeah, and as we recently found out, the Indigo Tribe is full of nothing but killers, rapists, and sadists.
Well, we don't know that.
It's basically, it's like it's the Thunderbolts of the Green Lantern Corps. I mean, of the emotional spectrum.
Well, I don't know. They could be really nice people. You just need to get to know them, you know? Like, maybe, you know, they just look different.
Well, that's what, according to Geoff Johns, they're nothing but they're trying to be reformed criminals that Abin Sur set up.
Yeah, that's definitely evident because the guy who was licking Batman's skull was a part of their little...
Yeah, the Black Hand.
And, Sinestro was inducted into their little party, too.
Yeah. Well, according, he did it willfully on his former lover's, his dead lover's request. He promised to do this.
Yeah.
Which, do you think, by the way, side note, do you think Geoff Johns likes writing Sinestro more than Hal Jordan?
I'm not sure, because when you really think about it and, evaluate his run as a whole, one of the biggest themes about his run has been redemption for Sinestro, because, he brought him back in Rebirth, and then Sinestro Corps War was, this huge thing up to, and it was you find out that Sinestro did it for the good of the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
And, he stuck around for Blackest Night, he helped there. In Brightest Day too, he
merged with the entity, the White Entity.
Yeah, so when you really think about it, lots of this has been about Sinestro just as much as it has been Hal. And yeah, look at Green Lantern Secret Origin, that had a lot of Hal-Sinestro relationship too, and that's a really fascinating relationship that they have there. They're kind of like frenemies in that sort of way.
Yeah. Well, now it feels like it's becoming good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, I wish I saw more of the Hal-Sinestro friendship in the movie, just saying.
Yeah, definitely. That just kind of, oh look, I'm a bad guy now.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think this is a really bad idea, and I've spoken out before. The relaunch, while it's been a success economically, creatively, it's been I feel like it's failing.
Well, it's, obviously there are a lot of problems. The timeline is just what? And lots of the stuff they promised with it being reader accessible, that's kind of been thrown out the window for a lot of books, especially with Green Lantern. I can't imagine giving Green Lantern #1 to a new reader and not having to hold their hands and be okay, so this guy, Sinestro, he was a Green Lantern, then he was a bad, and then now he's Green Lantern again, and just explain all this stuff. And yeah, obviously there's some really, really great titles coming out of this relaunch, and there's some interesting new spins on lots of characters. I really like what they've done with Superman for the most part, and
although, as I recall, you did not like the whole Mighty Morphin Power Rangers armor sequence.
No, the main Superman title right now is not a good comic, if you ask me.
But Action Comics you apparently like.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. Everyone's been, really mixed on that one.
I think, Captain Logan and, I forget who reviewed that with me. I think it was Tori GNR1 or something, but I think they were spot on with that. It's a really brilliant run, but it's been kind of hurt by the little interludes halfway in the middle of this storyline,
yeah,
and some derp-tastic artwork in certain scenes. Seriously, there's this one scene that's supposed to be, really touching, it's really well written, you can tell, it's Superman's big turning character point, and just this one scene where he jumps up in the air and then he's smiling, but the artist just gave him the most horrendous, scary, stupid looking smile ever, and it's right in your face, and it's scene completely ruined.
Yeah. Well, we got totally sidetracked on that, but but yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so again with the reader accessibility thing, that could be an argument used to maybe they will get rid of the cores, because it does complicate things. The reason why they've left out characters like Wally West or something, they kind of say that it kind of makes things a bit too confusing for readers. So, you still there?
Yeah.
Oh. And
oh, were you done?
Your voice is really quiet, and there's these weird buzzing noises.
That's strange. I'm not hearing anything.
We could cut that part out.
Oh. Good luck with that. I suck at editing.
Oh well. Anyways, so yeah, like all the cores, they do kind of complicate things. Like you kind of got to explain, okay, here's why they exist. Here's what's unique about all of them. Here's why it's not a stupid idea, which is something you kind of gotta work hard at when you just kind of go, okay, so there's like these rainbow lanterns and stuff.
Yeah. Or as Guy Gardner once put it, the Crayola lanterns.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I just forgot the little expression he used.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, there's lots of stuff going on in Green Lantern, and you just kind of think that would make things more streamlined.
Yeah, on the other hand, I feel like if they were going to do this in the reboot, they should have done it, not like reboot certain things and just leave Batman and Green Lantern alone. Although, on the other hand, Batman's actually been really reader accessible, apparently.
Yes, it is, actually, and I didn't know, like, obviously there is a bias here, because I'm a big fan of Batman and his supporting cast, but, you know, if they fully rebooted Batman, I would have loved to see, you know, maybe young Dick Grayson Robin, see things start fresh, but at the same time, that'd be like, no more Jason Todd, no more Tim Drake, no more Damian Wayne, no more Batgirl, all this stuff.
No more Batman Incorporated?
Yeah. Yes, that would have upset me a little bit, I think, but,
Sidetracked again. So if they go all out and all the cores except the Green Lantern core is destroyed, that would be like... Because pretty much, let's face it, the multiple cores have really helped the Green Lantern sales, because now it's like X-Men in some ways. Like, this is the X-Men of DC.
Yeah, pretty much, because that's evident by they've got multiple Green Lantern books and stuff like that, and, you know, one of the cores has their own book, so...
It's not good, I'll tell you. It's losing its quality. I'm going to stop reading it very soon. The only I was going to drop off after this issue, but I looked and saw Stormwatch is going to be in the next issue.
Yeah, I kind of pandered off with that title. Yeah. But, yeah, it's like, well, you know, they have their own book, so they really get to get rid of the Red Lantern core. You know, that's one less, you know, comic for them to sell. And the New Guardians, like, that entire premise of that book relies on all these other colors.
Yeah. And plus, they still have the multiple they're bringing in the multiple cores in the animated series.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because from here on out, like, the multiple cores, that's kind of, like, solidified in the Green Lantern mythos, like, not just in the comics, but that could bleed over into pop culture, because that one movie that most people don't like to acknowledge that came out a while ago, like, it showed the yellow Lantern stuff, so, yeah. Yeah.
And let's face it, people have now been, thanks to the animated series, have been exposed to the Green Lantern, the Red Lanterns, and now the Blue Lanterns.
Oh yeah, St. Walker was in that.
Yeah, in the last episode, he became the Blue Lantern.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
Well, last episode of Season 1. They are doing a Season 2.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, can I say one thing? They make Atrocitus like Megatron.
Yeah, it's a really different take, and I don't know. He just looks really weird too.
Yeah. Although he is kind of a badass in there, I will admit.
Yeah, he definitely is. I remember the first time when he came in and kicked Hal's ass. It was just like, yeah.
And then he stomped him into the ground another time.
Yeah.
Actually, we should talk about the whole season on a whole another time.
I haven't actually been keeping up with that show. Like, I've wanted to, but I don't know. I'm just lazy and too tired to look up each episode on YouTube. Yeah. I don't like watching a TV show online. But, anyways, yeah. Cores are going.
Yeah, we are getting really sidetracked here. Oh well.
Yeah, no. We don't talk much, so.
Yeah. I think this is a really bad idea. I think it would be the equivalent of remember in the Marvel book? Yeah, you've read Marvel, right?
What?
You remember that story arc, House of M?
Batman can punch, right?
But yeah, you remember House of M, right?
Yeah.
Remember at the end of the story where it was like Wanda said no more mutants? You think it would be this is going to be the equivalent of no more lanterns?
Yeah, it's been kind of like a theme because in like Avengers vs. X-Men, there's like this no more Avengers. I mean, anyways, we keep.
No, but you made a good comparison. Like, I feel like this might be the equivalent of X-Men Endangered Species, right here.
Yeah, and maybe like I forget if I mentioned it in this take or the last one, but it might turn into this big event where they gotta restore the batteries or whatever.
Yeah, and the other thing is, how is this going to affect all the characters? Because some of these lanterns, no matter who they are, even the Blue Lanterns, some of them are addicted to this power.
Oh yeah, and the Red Lanterns, like, they literally, like, biologically, they rely on their rings because their hearts have been replaced. So it's like, how are they going to live without their battery? Like, just never mind the fact that, you know, they basically have, like, acid cancer.
Yeah, it's slowly eating them. Like, they're having the worst way to go.
Yeah, pretty much. And while the Indigos, they get their free will back, so it's pretty good for them.
Yeah, pretty much. And the other thing, like I said, a lot of these lanterns are really addicted to this power, so when that power goes, you have a lot of uncontrollable, highly trained, most of them are highly trained, soldiers. It's basically taking a addict off his drug, you know, taking the drugs out of the addict, and he basically goes cold turkey.
Imagine how Larfleeze would react.
Oh, man. I think he'd, like, up and kill himself.
Imagine if they, like, just signed Larfleeze up for, like, these little meetings to get him off of his little orange lantern stuff.
You know how they'd actually do that if they destroyed the orange lantern battery? I think Larfleeze would just get so... Like, he would just snap right there and just start grabbing everything. Like, he sees, like, something painted orange, he's like, this is my battery now.
You know what I'd love to see, though?
What's that?
Him freak out, and then, like, just like Hal or just some random lantern just one punches him. Because without his lantern ring, it's kind of like, oh, he's not so powerful anymore.
Yeah.
Even though he is kind of a psychopath, so he might go absolutely berserk and snap some necks.
Although, on the other hand, he has been treated in the DC universe kind of like a joke.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like a more... It's not like, oh, Larfleeze sucks. It's like, Larfleeze is silly. Don't you love him?
Yeah, especially that Christmas special.
Oh yeah, that was... I really like that. And Jeff Johns has actually described him as, like, he's kind of like the Daffy Duck of DC.
Yeah, he was so badass at the beginning, now he's this.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind it either, it's just, if he goes, I think we're gonna see, rather than Daffy Duck, we're gonna see Hannibal Lecter.
Yes, I'd love to see that.
Atrocitus, if he's dying, he's taken about 1,000 people with him.
Yeah, and the whole thing with Atrocitus, too, is he's been kind of getting a little watered down, like his rage has been subsiding. That's, like, a big thing in the Red Lantern book, and just general Green Lantern stuff. So, you know, maybe he'll be restored to his former rage or something if he kind of has this big event to, you know, push him.
Yeah, because now he's like the Wolverine of the DC universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's trying to, like, he even said it in the second issues of Red Lanterns, you know, maybe I can control my rage to the point where I can function properly.
Yeah, and then there's that one in issue 3, it was like, I'm the best there is at what I do, bub.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. That was a fan fiction, I think.
Yeah, or you know, other thing that, because DC's now following in Marvel's footsteps, we bring in Razor from the animated series and make him the new leader.
That is very possible, because, I mean, like, look where they got Harley Quinn.
Yeah, good point. I mean, actually, when I saw Razor, I was like, how long until you show up in the comic books?
Yeah, and, yeah, too, like, recently, like, Young Justice, like, the whole thing with Aqualad, like, that kind of led into, you know, mainstream comics.
Yeah, and I think that's bleeding into Aquaman.
Yeah. Speaking of which, where the heck is he? It's like, we got, like, kind of his origin in Brightest Day, and now he's just kind of gone.
And knowing Jeff Johns, he won't leave him out forever, and since they, you know, they got Black Manta back, who came back as a badass.
Oh, he is so freaking cool in the Aquaman book.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been badass, but, like, when he first showed up in the Aquaman comic, I was like, I fangasmed when I saw him back in Aquaman books.
Yeah, he's like the Boba Fett of the DC universe in my eyes.
Yeah. That's actually, like, he's Aquafett.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I think, like, there are good books out there, but I feel like this could be a really, like, this is really going to alienate a lot of Green Lantern fans if this happens.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, comic fans, we're just kind of used to all these changes and stuff, you know, especially with rebooting 50% of the universe anyways.
More like 95.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's just basically Green Lantern, Batman, characters that are directly related, and, well, I guess there's Swamp Thing too, but it's not like he's a huge corner of the DCU or anything.
Nah, according to the sales, he is.
Yep, pretty much.
And, truth be told, I got to read Animal Man, the first trade.
No, but I've been keeping up with the series, and I'm really loving it.
Yeah, I got to read the first trade. My God, is it an awesome book.
Yeah.
Of Jeff Lemire's Animal Man. And I thought, Animal Man? Well, that book's just not gonna work. Ooh, I was wrong.
Yeah. Wait, this was a Green Lantern video, right?
Yeah, but hey, people out there, you should know better that I get sidetracked.
Yeah, it's not like they're complaining, hey, they're talking about comics, and now they're talking about comics some more. Yeah. Darn them.
Well, it kind of transition. We are keeping on a little track here and there, and keep in mind, guys, this has been a long time since I've got to talk to V.
Yeah.
And I think we've pretty much covered everything. I think it would be a really bad idea, I think, unless they have a hell of a great story to bring back all the cores, and they better have a really damn good story if they decide to get rid of all the cores and have, like, a really good fallout, rather than, oh, all the cores are gone. No more. No more Atrocitus, no more... Atrocitus is just going to be on the end of the universe, just sulking, you know? He's just going to feed pigeons on a park bench.
Or he's going to be dead because he has no heart.
Yeah, or that, too.
Yeah, but like I said, I doubt they're going to do that, and they're just going to probably tinker with the idea, because I'd love to see them do something like all of the different characters dealing with not having the ring any longer. Well, you know, Hal, he's kind of getting used to that already. Kind of, more or less. But yeah, lots of these characters, it's interesting to see what are they like without their rings, if they're forced to let go. And maybe they'll, like, form, like, a literal, like, army, like, you know, just them, just without their weapons or whatever, just, you know, trying to fight back and...
Yeah, just basically them gunning for the Guardians.
Yeah, pretty much.
And personally, here's another question I want to ask you. I know everyone is sick of the Guardians. All readers are like, we're waiting for that moment when the Green Lanterns rise up against them.
Yeah.
So this is going to be it. When they find out they're going to be replaced. Because that's coming too, and I think, yeah, it's going to be... I thought in War of the Green Lanterns, I thought the Lanterns were going to rise up against the Guardians.
Yeah, because in Rage of the Red Lanterns, like, there's a panel where they kind of see Hal Jordan's future, and there's, like, just a picture of Hal Jordan fighting the Guardians, and it says, you will become a rogue again. And, again, another thing they've been building up in Green Lanterns is the Guardians are dicks, and they're tired of all these emotions, they're tired of Green Lanterns acting all emotional and such, and now they're finally going to go all the way and have this third army, so maybe they're going to get rid of the Guardians.
Yeah, and who do you think would lead the Guard? I personally say Kilowog should be the leader of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, that would be cool. Or maybe they'll just get, why can't I remember his name right now? The Guardian that gave Kyle his ring.
Ganthet, but he got lobotomized in New Guardians.
Oh, so that kind of messes with that.
Yeah. Or, oh god, what if Sinestro becomes leader of the Green Lanterns?
Well, that'd be pretty extreme redemption, don't you think?
Well, I mean, like, how Johns writes it, he could, like, that is a possibility of Sinestro and Hal leading the charge against the Guardians. That'd
be pretty badass, actually. Oh, no, be even better?
What?
if Batman led the Green Lantern Corps. No, just took all the rings and just wore them, like, on his toes and stuff, and then he just kicked everyone's asses.
He's kidding, folks.
Yes, I am.
There's probably, like, one guy, he's serious! Batman can't do that!
He can't, don't worry.
But yeah, I think it would be really cool to see the fallout, and this better be an interesting story they're building up to with all the batteries gone, because I feel like that's what's going to happen in the next coming issues, that the Blue Lanterns are the next ones to go.
Yeah, like, it can't be a coincidence that they're all just going poof at the same time. And they're doing a good job of keeping quiet, because you'd think they'd be kind of teasing at this big, huge event or something.
Yeah, it's got to be like, you have to, like, it's kind of like in Doctor Who, the whole Bad Wolf situation.
I need to get into Doctor Who.
It is really, it's good. But basically what I'm saying, I'm going to explain it to Brad real quick. There's this whole message that the Doctor sent to himself throughout time and space about his greatest enemies, the Daleks, coming back. After, he thought he destroyed them all in this time war that also cost his people, the Time Lords, lives as well. He's the last of his kind. And he was basically sending a message, a subtle message, throughout his entire history to himself, basically saying that the Daleks are coming back.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that whole, I call it the Bad Wolf syndrome. Well, that's kind of what Bad Wolf is. It's really hard to explain. That's not even hardly a general exposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I think we've pretty much covered it. And on the risk of rambling again, they better have a good explanation to how this is going to go down. Any final words?
Batman wins. That's what happens.
Yeah. Well, alright guys, this has been super fun. You guys tell us, what would you think of the emotional spectrum dying? Like, there's only the Green Lantern Corps, and would you be for it? Would you be against it? How do you guys feel? I really want to hear your explanations or comments or whatever, because this is a really big subject that I've recently caught on to, because someone brought it up. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And I'd like to thank VsxFedora for joining me. This has been really awesome. We finally got to do a video together.
Yeah, thanks.
Alright, and later.